All right, so this lesson is going to be basically a continuation of the harp harmonic studies that we've been doing on the site. First one was an intermediate lesson. We're just kind of introduced the concept of what we're doing when we're, how you pick the harmonic 12 frets up and all that stuff, and we kind of outline a couple of chord shapes. Now we're actually going to get into some real patterns and that you can do with this, and then a chord progression. And then the next lesson, we're actually going to start adding hammer-ons and pull-offs, which really creates these large kind of cascading sounds. So, but for this one, we're going to base this around just a few chord forms here. I'm going to start here with just this shape. Now, the number one thing you want to think about when you're doing these harp harmonics, when you're constructing your own shapes, is not necessarily chord forms. We are playing chord forms down in the left hand. We do chord forms like that, and we do our little harmonic patterns on the picking patterns down here. But in reality, what we're playing is our sustained scales. Let me let you see what I mean. If you look at the basic picking pattern, the pattern that we have, you can follow along in the exercises on the PDF download that you can get at guitarlessons365.com for free, just so you can follow along with this lesson. You can see this is a basic, probably the most common harp harmonic picking pattern. We'll just hold your first finger across the 5th fret in a straight bar. All right, and then we're going to pick the 6th string with our harp harmonic, and then the 3rd string with your 3rd finger or your pinky, whichever one you want to use, just a natural note. So we have, so that was picking 6 and then 3. We're going to do the same thing with the harp harmonic on the 5th string, and then picking the 2nd string natural. And then continue like that, the 4th string harp harmonic, and then the 1st string natural. So we have this. Then we're going to continue to come back down just with the harmonic on the 3rd string, then pluck the 1st string natural, then the harmonic on the 4th string, 2nd string natural, and then the last one will be the harmonic on the 5th string, and then the 3rd string natural. And then you can just start over when you get down here. Now that's the first exercise that we have, and that is a very basic kind of, that's basic but probably also the most common harp harmonic pattern that you're going to see. Now what is going on there? Well, harp harmonics, as Ted Green actually calls them, and he's just was the master at this. I really recommend checking out. He's got a lot of really in-depth tutorials on harp harmonics, but you can go to his his website, I believe, and he has a lot of printouts on it, just tedgreen.com. But he has, if you look at analyze what we just did there, we played an A minor pentatonic scale. Now try to get those sound of those notes in your head. Now listen to this. That's all we did. You can see that it's an A, and then the C is actually plucked with this finger, and then this D, which is the next, we have this harmonic, and then the open E, the natural E, is just the E in the scale. If you look at those notes in the pattern, you'll see that it'll form an A minor pentatonic scale, up and down. And that is what these harmonics sound. We actually hold one chord from here, but what you're doing by creating all those sustaining sounds is actually sustained notes of a scale. Now when you get into you can do it off of any mode or anything you want, you can stack these notes. You're usually going to have to leave out a couple notes in the scale, and depending on, as you're going across in the pattern, you can see that which notes you're going to have to leave out. minor pentatonic we didn't have to. It's only a 5-note scale, but if you're dealing with 7-note scales and you're skipping across those strings like that, you're going to find that you're going to have to leave some out. All right, but that's what you want to see while you're trying to create these things. That's what you want to think about. So we'll get more into that. But we can also continue this and do larger patterns. You can add just like something like Tommy Emmanuel does a lot, and he'll pick the first 3 strings. He uses a thumb pick, but you can pick the first 3 strings just natural. So I'm doing that with a down, down, up. So I can go back down, and then I continue with the exact same pattern that we just did. So we have this. Just kind of extends it and plays the entire, really fits rhythmically in. And if you're playing 8th notes in 2 measures, or if you're playing 16th notes, it's 1 full measure. All right. Now the next thing we can take a look at, that was exercise 2. This exercise 3 coming up is an actual chord progression. So the first thing you just want to do, it's not really chord progression. Remember, it's like kind of a sustained scale progression, but we will practice the chord forms that we have to play to get those scale sounds out. We're going to play we're going to start with the same form we did, bar across the 5th fret, and then we're going to do this, the 2nd finger at the 4th fret, bar across the 3rd fret, all the way across from the 5th string all the way to the 1, the 1st string, and then the 3rd finger here on this E flat here at the 4th fret on the 2nd string. Strum all 6 strings. And then move that down 1 fret. So I'm trying to keep the shapes relatively simple and relatively short. So just 1 fret at a time on that bass there. So just get used to that progression. All right, then we're going to take that progression. I wanted to keep it simple because you have to trace those notes. It's easy when you're doing the bar, but when you get down here, you got to move around a little bit. So we're basically going to take the exercise number 1 and take it to that progression of chord forms. So here we go. And then we're going to move down to this shape and play this one. And then all the way down. So just see if you can get those going. All right, very simple little progression. Just get your hands around the progression and then just follow the shapes. You can see when I went to this shape, I could go straight across the 5th fret with my harmonics, right? But here, I have my harmonics on the 16th fret up here, and then the 15th fret on the 5th string, and then this 15th fret on the 4th string, and then the 15th fret on the... All right, so just work on that little progression, and then in the next lesson we're going to actually start working on adding some hammer-ons and pull-offs, which really adds these cool cascading effects. All right, please go to Guitar Lessons 365 and support the site in any way you can so I can continue these daily lessons. Thanks. Bye-bye.